Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. Today we're going to take the mystery out of the Gamo Swarm Bone Collector. It's a 10-shot break barrel. Yeah, that is a mouthful. And it's still sealed up in the box. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm going to do that right in front of you. But before we do that, do me a favor. Hit that little subscribe button down there. It does not cost you a penny. It's absolutely free, but it helps me out a lot, and I'd really appreciate that. In addition to that, if you would like to be notified when we come out with a new video, please hit that little bell right there. And on top of that, I really like feedback. Thumbs up are fantastic if you give us some thumbs up. And always, when you have a chance, check out my website, the www.airgundetectives.com. Got a lot of cool things on there. That's where I sell those split bipods. And there's a lot of t-shirts and a few other things on there. But just check it out. But anyway, let's get down to business here. Before I do open this box, I do want to tell everybody I hope you're staying safe and healthy. And hopefully we can all get back to work soon. So let's open this box up. Do you mind? I got to put these on because I just don't see that great up close anymore. I told you before, it sucks getting over 50. Anyway, let's open this thing up and see what we got in here. All right. Alrighty. It still doesn't open that well. Oh well. Must be a packing slip. Alright. Let's pull this sucker out. Alright. What do we got here? The Gamo Bone Collector. Let's see exactly what we have in here. This one is in .22 caliber, and this one actually has a wooden stock, which is quite nice. Looks like, but let's open it up and find out. So, Bone Collector, 3-year warranty, claiming 975 feet per second. So, let's open this up. Tape on here. Alrighty. So this is how it comes. Got our scope. Got our rifle. Looks like we have one magazine. And then we've got our paperwork. So let's take a look at this. Alrighty. Packaging open here. Alright. Okay, so here's our bone collector. Yeah, you got a nice, good-looking stock here. You got the little insignia here that says Bone Collector on it. This has the IGT Piston 10-shot magazine. So we see it's got our 10-shot magazine here. Now this one has a S.A.T Trigger. This is their smooth action trigger. The other synthetic one that I reviewed before, it has the C.A.T trigger, the S.A.T Trigger. That's a custom action trigger which you can adjust to first and second stage. In my experience, these are actually pretty good triggers. Once you put my trigger screw in there, it lightens them up a lot. So this has a recoil reducing rail, as we can see that. This has a nice little cushion, your butt pad here, and it's got the removable block so you can lighten this up if you want right here. Has our safety right here, and then this is the Gamo's patented 10-shot magazine auto feed here. And the magazine, I've showed you this in my other videos, just goes right. Let's open this bag up. Here we go. Magazine. Just load this sucker up, holds 10 shots, and you just drop that right in here. And you can actually dry fire this gun, but there's a warning level when you come down to your last pellet. So let's see, this one also comes with a scope. Now, this comes, it looks like just with a 4x32 scope. And this is not going to have any as far as power adjustment on it. This is going to be your basic 4x32 scope. So, and no adjustable objective. Where the regular one actually comes with a, I think it's a 3x9 by 40. So this is a much smaller scope. So we'll talk about that. We'll mount that up later. I'm probably going to put a different scope on this just to do our shooting because I want to give this the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, so this has a 30-pound cocking effort. It's 44.5 inches long. This one has a 19-inch barrel. If you'll notice, there's no open sights on this, so you can't shoot this open sights. They claim this will shoot 975 feet per second, but as you know, Gamo overestimates their velocity, and that's usually done with an alloy pellet. And again, I'll re-mention this does come with a 3-year warranty, and this does have their IGT inert gas piston set up in this. So it does have a gas piston. This is not a spring piston. So these retail for about, I've seen them anywhere between $200 and $230. So the biggest difference so far between this and the synthetic one is this has the S.A.T trigger, the synthetic one has the S.A.T trigger. This also comes with a smaller scope. This comes with a fixed 4x32 scope, where the other one comes with the 3x9 by 40. So a little smaller scope. But anyway, let's see how well this performs. And let's go ahead and run it through our gamut, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, we're going to do a quick Crony test with our Gamo Swarm Bone Collector. I put about 300 rounds through this just to smooth it out. We're going to shoot a 14 grain pellet. We're just going to shoot a 14 grain Meisterkugeln standard lead pellet, and we'll see what type of velocity we go. So let's average 5 shots. All right, shot number 1, 705. Shot number 2, 706. Shot number 3, 708. Shot number 4, 706. And one more shot, 703. So not a bad standard deviation. So all those shots are actually pretty close as far as feet per second go. But you see what it does with a 14 grain pellet. Let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's test the Gamo Bone Collector or Gamo Swarm Bone Collector. Let's check the pull weight on the trigger. Now these are the S.A.T triggers, the S.A.T triggers, as opposed to they also have, which is a smooth action trigger. Then they have the S.A.T trigger, which is their custom action trigger. Custom action trigger is supposed to be the best, and then the S.A.T trigger. The S.A.T trigger is not bad. I actually kind of like it because it's just very light in the first stage area, and it comes up against a wall, and it goes from there. Of course, it's much better with my trigger screw in there. But let's test this right out of the box and see what we get out of this thing. Okay. Okay. 3 pounds, 8.8 ounces. So 3 pounds, 8.8 ounces. That's what it is with the standard screw in there. So let's move on to the next segment. All right, guys, we're going to do our accuracy test now. Before we do this, I have to clarify a few things. Number 1, I ran over about 350 pellets through this. I've cleaned the barrel twice. I've probably done at least 20 different weights and styles of pellets. I tightened up all the stock screws on this. I tried 3 different scopes, and I had the exact same results as I'm going to show you here in a minute. You know, I almost thought about just canceling the review on this gun, but then I said, you know what? No, this is what I give you guys. I give you guys honest feedback. And in time, I probably have 20 Gamo rifles, and I'm going to tell you, I probably had 4 out of 20 that came and were just defective. They just couldn't group. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a 10-shot group with this, and I'm going to show you what this does at our usual 20 yards. In fact, I had to go to a larger diameter target, but I'm going to show you. My level of frustration right now is off the chart. I've spent probably 4 hours on this trying to get this thing dialed in. This is the absolute best I can do. So I'm going to show you what's going on here. So right now I just have some Meisterkugelns in there. I shot the Gamo Fires. I shot all of them. And this is basically the result. So watch 10 of these shots. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Seven. 8. 9. 10. That's what I've been putting up with all day. That's my level of frustration. All right, stay tuned for the next segment. Well, you guys saw my level of frustration. I'm sure you guys could see it and feel it. But there are steps that you need to take to break in a rifle to see if it's either you or the rifle's issue as far as grouping. Now, I wrote a complete article on my website of how to break in your air rifle, and if you haven't read it, I would suggest you do, because it'll take you through basically all the steps I went through with this gun. And what I determined was the gun was defective. There was issues with it. So what I thought I'd do for fun is because I purchased this gun on my own, not as Airgun Detectives, just as John, okay? So I purchased the gun. Obviously, I took it through the steps. You saw how frustrated I was. It wouldn't group worth a darn, okay? So I sent it back, and I sent a nice letter with it, or an email rather, and explained to them that the gun just wouldn't group. And I wanted to test and see what type of customer service, because I wanted to share that with you. Because we all get to shoot the guns, we see how accurate they are. I'm sure there's some of you that will go through the experience that I did. You'll get occasionally a bad gun. That happens when you produce lots and lots of items, no matter what company you are or who you are, you're going to get some defective ones. It just happens. So I wanted to see what type of customer service Gamo would have. And again, not as Airgun Detectives, but just as John, because I wanted to share that with you. And I have to say I was extremely pleased. So I sent a email, as I said before, back with the gun explaining it was defective. Went ahead and shipped the gun back because it was within a week after I purchased it. So they sent me a return merchandise authorization number and a shipping label. So I sent it back. They returned a brand new gun for me, brand new in the box. So now I get to show you how this performs. But let me tell you, Gamo got 5 stars as far as their customer service. The communication was great, got an email back. Now keep in mind they are running at limited staffing because of the virus, so things were a little slower than normal, but that's everywhere right now, so you just got to be patient. But ultimately, they sent me another gun. So I'm going to show you how this gun groups now, and then we'll go from there, go through the rest of our steps. But I'm just going to shoot. Sometimes you guys are always asking, why don't you use the stock scope? I usually don't like the stock scopes because they're very difficult to see. This is no exception. I would upgrade this scope in a second. And I'm going to talk about this at the end in our conclusion, because Gamo has a new line of specific scopes that are just for the brake barrels, and I've been testing them and they're outstanding. But I'm going to go ahead and just shoot a group with this and see how well we do. So let's try to do a 5-shot group. Like I said, I can't see that great with this, so we'll see what happens. And I'm shooting, oh by the way, I'm shooting some Meisterkugelns. They're a 14.0 grade wad cutter. And again, thanks for Splatter Targets. They sent us these targets, make it easier for you guys to see where we're actually hitting. So I'll put a link for Splatter Targets down below so you guys will be able to, if you want to get some of those, because they are actually a lot of fun and you can really see them from a distance. So let's see how well we do here. That's one. Two. Three. 4. And 5. Not too shabby, especially considering the scope. We're going to shoot our Gamo Bone Collector at our usual 40 yards. Go ahead and take a look at this, what we're going to shoot at. You can see we've got a couple of steel eggs up there, some shotgun shells, and then we've got orange bird to the right and a orange ram to the left. So let's see how well this does at 40 yards. And again, the reason I do this is so you guys can get an idea. Look how small of objects those are. So if you're actually hunting or pest controlling at this distance, then you can see what type of performance you're going to get out of these rifles. Okay, I'm going to shoot the same ones we shot at our target, the Meisterkugeln, the 14.0. But this particular rifle is not overly pellet picky. There's actually a few pellets that work pretty good in those. The RWS Super Hollow Points worked well. The Sig Venoms actually work pretty good in this rifle as well. So those are just a couple. I'm sure your specific rifle is going to like pellets, its own pellet better than these. Remember, the rifle actually finds the pellet. You just got to find the right pellet to feed it. All right, let's see how well this does. You do have to love the cocking effort on these things. It's just nothing to it. All right, and I'm using the same little scope, which its clarity is good, just the magnification's pretty far away. It's tough to see. So let's just see if we can take the bird out to the right. Oh yeah. And let's see about the shotgun shell. Yep. All right. Steel egg. One on the right. Okay. See if we can get the white one. Actually, I'm going to move over to the shotgun shell in middle, and then we'll go back to that. Got that. Now the egg on the right. Beautiful. And last but not least, let's get the ram. There you go. Not bad. The Bone Collector at 40 yards. Pretty sweet. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Let's wrap up our Gamo Bone Collector with our little conclusion here. Wow, this gun was a journey, I have to tell you. And I don't know what my luck is, but it's funny, is the other Swarm Maxim that I got, which is similar, except this one has the wood stock and the different trigger. The first one I got with that, I had issues with it. So obviously the first one I got with this, I had issues with it. But the amazing thing is the customer service that I received. Keep in mind, the Gamo Bone Collector, it carries a 3-year warranty. So it's completely, has a warranty, basically from bumper to bumper, as we would say. But I had excellent customer service with this, and you saw that the rifle they replaced it with performed quite well. In fact, it even shot better than my synthetic Swarm. So this one even shot even better than that one, and you guys saw that. Under 0.4 of an inch, which amazing. Again, I can't say enough about the Gamo's customer service. That was fantastic, and it's not often that we talk about that, because we usually, as I said before, we just go over a review, but we don't talk about the actual customer service. And I went through this process, I told you, just as John, not Airgun Detectives, and they totally took care of me. So let's talk about the negatives on this gun. I would say my #1 negative on this is the scope here. It comes just with a simple 4x32 scope. It's not horrible. You can get by with it. At 40 yards, those objects are really hard to see, though. And even shooting at 20 yards, that small little red dot you're aiming at, you know, it would be much better with another scope. Now, I do have something for you guys. Okay, BSA, these BSA scopes. Okay, Gamo took over BSA. They're part of the Gamo organization, which is also the Daisy organization now. Anyway, so when Gamo took them over, BSA is now making a line of scopes, affordable scopes. I'm telling you, they're very affordable. In fact, this one I'm showing you right here is a 3x9x40. It's got a mill dot. It's got, this has dovetail rails on it, but they designed it specifically for brake barrels, so they can handle the reverse recoil. And guess what? I've been testing this for the last couple of months. They also make a little larger one. They make a 4x12x44. In fact, if you watched my XS28 review, I actually used that scope, the 4x12x44, in that, and I've been shooting that for a while. But I put this through this most serious test. Is I was shooting it with the Gamo Magnum, the Swarm Magnum, and I put at least 500 rounds through it, and these things are holding at point of aim. So I'll put a link down below, so in case you guys want to pick these up, because I'm often asked, hey, what type of scope can I get for these? And these are not bad. They're actually pretty clear. They work really well in my opinion, and they've been holding point of aim even under those severe recoil. Okay, so back to this. Negative is the scope. It's just a basic scope. And there's also, I'm going to point, there's an issue with this too. Out of the box, this scope will come with these scope rings on it. If you're actually to put it on the gun just the way it comes, it will actually go over the space between the recoil reducing rails, and I'll show you some photos of that. So what you have to do is you have to take the scope off of the mounts and switch them. So in other words, you want the scope that has the pin in it to the front, because along this recoil reducing rails there's actually two holes in it. So you want the pin to go in the one in the front, and then space this one so you have a little bit of gap right here in the back. Right here in the back, so it's not protruding over, because if it actually protrudes over that space that's in between that recoil reducing rail, and then it won't work the way it's designed. So you got to do that. So that's one thing you got to do. This one, compared to the synthetic, comes with a S.A.T Trigger. I really like the S.A.T Trigger. Once you put my screw in it, the aftermarket screw, it turns this into an incredible trigger. Actually, it's one of my favorites. I like this every bit, with this screw in here, every bit as much as the cat trigger. I really do. It works really well. Alright, now what I liked about this gun. The fact that it's a Gamo and it's got good customer service, 3-year warranty. That's a good thing. I like the whisper technology. That is awesome in here. This thing is really quiet, and it's backyard friendly. You could, I'm telling you, you could shoot these with your neighbors right on top of you, and you're not going to hear it. This thing is really quiet. It's easy to cock. I'm telling you, 28-30 pounds max to cock this thing. The 10-round magazine, as we went over these before, and they're very easy to load. You can see a pellet in there now, right there. But you just rotate it and drop the pellets in. That's all there is to it. And then you have a little indicator right here, which shows you how many pellets are left in the magazine. Goes in and out. They're pretty inexpensive. You can load up on those. Not bad. So I really like the magazine. The Bone Collector comes with this beautiful stock, and it is a nice looking stock. Now it does have a raised area for right-handers, so this actually sticks out a little bit. But if you're a left-hander, like I am, you can shoot this all day long. It's not going to affect you one iota, not even one bit. So, designed for right-handers, but left-handers, you'll be right there. Not even an issue. I do have to come back on these recoil reducing rails. I've never been a big fan of it. In fact, this one, like just the other one that I had, it seems like it collapsed. The gap in there completely disappeared, and it's right up against each other. So, not a huge fan on that. But we'll just leave it at that, because there's some people, I guess, that kind of like it. How about performance-wise? You saw the grouping that we got on it. That was terrific. As far as feet per second, remember Gamo was claiming 975 on these with the alloy pellet. Realistically, you're going to shoot at least a 14-grain lead pellet in this thing if you want at all any type of accuracy. And we averaged about 705 feet per second, which is about 15.5 foot-pounds of energy, which is plenty for pest control and maybe some really small game. The other thing was, this model was not over pellet picky. I tried several pellets in it, and it seemed to perform actually pretty well with all of them. I got this on a super sale. Yes, I purchased this myself on a super sale right directly from Gamo. So pay attention, there's a lot of sales out there. How would I rate this gun? Well, they did put me through the ringer as far as the first one. Oh my God. You guys witnessed it. You saw what I went through on that. But I'm still going to have to give this gun overall 4.5 stars, because it's a good performer. It's quiet, it's lightweight, it cocks easy, it's got a 10-round magazine. You can shoot this thing all day. So with that, remember, I hooked you guys up with these firearm guards, the little moisture things. Go to the website, I'll put a link below. If you put in the name Airgun, you'll get free shipping. Other than that, if you guys haven't subscribed, please do me a favor, hit the little subscribe button down there because I would appreciate it if you could subscribe. And other than that, I hope everybody is safe, healthy, happy, and appreciate you watching. Until next time, don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the air gun.